Cue the music, let's go. I'm your boy Ro, OG member of the Orange Bowl Boys, and welcome to another edition of Student of the Game Preview. Your Miami Hurricanes are going to be facing off against the Notre Dame Fighting Irish in like less than a week. In full disclosure, we just did a Notre Dame versus Ohio State preview in the national championship game. Who knew? But apparently, I wasn't supposed to use that game. Ohio State has too much talent. So, I had to get creative, and since this is going to be CJ Carr's first ever start, let's go to the spring game, shall we? And I'll give credit to the Notre Dame offense here. Into the boundary, tucked in, they're in 12-set personnel. Again, reminder, that's one tight end, two tight ends, one running back. Very condensed set, bunch out here to the field. They're going to motion across the formation, and I really do like this play, okay? At first glance, I was like, okay, it's in the flat. Why didn't he take the easy cheese, right? But you're going to notice something here. Right here, this is what I mean. Sells the fake. It's open in the flat. You're not going to get a ton of yards there, but maybe you stay ahead of the chains. And then the back pedal, okay? That, to me, was an intentional design, and I really do like that, right? Kind of roll out and then get depth. And this is why I think this play was intentional. Great ball, by the way. Great catch. Because if you watch the tight end, the 12th set, now this was the guy in line at the top of the screen, he sells a block, and then he goes for the route. At the same time, CJ Carr goes ahead and backpedals. So I think that was an intentional play. They were looking for this shot on a 2nd and 5 in their spring game. So here you go, Canes fans. Enjoy the ride. You know, it's not going to be a national championship game. It's going to be their spring game, but maybe we learn a couple things here and there. So this is back-to-back plays for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish where they are selling the illusion of a tight end block only to release them later as a pass-catching option. Defense first, all right, they have 2 safeties over the top. 5 are going to drop into zone coverage. You're going to see the zone eyes, and I'll explain that later. But right now you have 2 linebackers coming in on a blitz. So I love this. Let's pay attention to their blitz pickups on the offensive side of the ball. I think they do a really good job here. Linebacker's going to come in early, shoot the A-gap. You have somebody else going to go ahead and shoot the other A-gap. Center is now engaged. So the way that they decided to block this, running back now has to factor in the actual pass pro. Does a good job. Gets in the way, gives CJ Carr just enough time. Good sense in the pocket. Once again, drifting away from the pocket, and that ball came out on a really good time element. So let's go back and now look at the tight end portion of this, okay? So zone eyes, I told you I was going to explain it. Look, that's what I mean by zone eyes. Look at all the eyes back to the quarterback. They're just patrolling their areas. That's their zone responsibilities. Now, here's your conflict guy right here. This is where you're essentially scripting and scheming this out right here, because you're using their tendency against you, because in zone coverage, I'll try to get something coming out quick underneath. But as the play elongates, what do? I get depth. So what you're going to notice here, as the Notre Dame defender gets depth, okay, now this is when that broke off because he was selling a block. Last time he checked, he was blocking. Now he's not. So there you go. Easy, low-hanging fruit. But you make one person miss because the tendency, right? Let me get deeper. Now you get good chunk yardage. Again, I think a key for me for the University of Miami is going to pay attention to the low-hanging fruit, right? Make that harder for CJ Carr to grab. Force him a little bit further downfield where accidents could happen. And you never know. Miami could be ahead of the curve and not behind it. Very good ball by CJ Carr here. And yes, this has a spring vibe element to it because both concepts on offensive side of the ball and defensive side of the ball, very basic concepts. Defense is just in a straight up man one where they have a single high safety. That's basically the man over the top while everybody else is in man coverage. Mike linebacker's responsibility is the quarterback here. Everybody else is manning somebody up. On the offensive side of the ball, they're running a smash concept. What's a smash concept? It's going to be up here to the top of the screen. You're going to have a wide receiver stick close to the line of scrimmage, either in a stop or a quick curl or a hitch. And then with the number 2 wide receiver, who happens to be a tight end right now, they're in 11-set personnel. Here's your tight end now. Here's your running back flexing to empty. He's going to run a corner route. Now, Miami Hurricane fans who've been following this for a long time, Rhett Lashley loved his smash concepts, right? He loves this concept. Easy for a quarterback to read. And here you go. There's a couple options you can use to cover it later on, and you have to have a plan for teams who like the smash concept, which most every team runs a variant of this. So at the snap of the ball, like I said, they're an empty. Good awareness here by CJ Carr. He understands nobody's coming on the blitz. 4 versus 5. Offensive line's going to win this. Now you see the man eyes, no eyes towards the quarterback right now. And then he goes ahead and releases this ball. Great ball, great touch, one-on-one against the linebacker. Tight end's going to win that. He gets 2 feet in bound too, so that's a good catch in the NFL. So what are a couple options that you could do? Sometimes they run baits and traps at the top of the screen. So a good adept corner, right? Once he realizes, all right, this is this, now he's getting depth, right? He's getting depth immediately because, okay, ball needs to be coming out now. So now I'm just hugging up here to the 1. Okay, I do no good. So I've seen that, and it's great heads up, even in man coverage, where once they see that there, they know it's a trap. General Akbar comes out again. It's a trap. Just get depth. But in this case, coverage is great. It's just a better ball, better throw. So Miami, if you do see that smash concepts, I'm preaching to the choir here. They know what to do if that happens, but there you go. So on this anatomy of a bad play, listen, it's a simple screen, but screens have this delicate dance, right? And a rhythm to it. The quarterback's throw, where the running back goes, and ultimately where the offensive linemen are going to be in relationship. Once that ball comes out, are they going to be in a good position to block? It's set up pretty good, and I like the little details. Notre Dame's well coached, okay? So one of the things you'll notice, you have a defensive tackle, 1 tech, and this is the good coached part, right? Because the way that they're selling this up, all right? CJ Carr, first thing, he's going to look at the top of the screen, so he's trying to bring defenders with him. He already knows where he's going with the ball. Center, he's going to basically shoot the 1 tech defensive tackle down, right? It's not offensive holding in this case, but he's just going to go ahead and get him on the ground. Great job, okay? Defensive tackle already knows what's happening, okay? He's like, I know this is a screen. So now defenders, they're getting into that prime position. But here's the one that blows up everything. This is a great play right here by the Notre Dame defender. And this is why you got to have a great, once you're throwing this and you're leading this outside of your offensive guard that you're asking to go ahead and be the screen blocker, he's got no chance, right? That's what I'm saying. It's a dance. You just basically, as a quarterback, let it a little too far, and then you just let him into the tackle. So I'm sure that's something they can look at, learn from it, clean that up, because, like I said, good defenders, once they see offensive linemen getting downfield, is exactly what the Notre Dame defender did. He knows it's a screen. It's okay if they know it's a screen. You better make sure that your offensive linemen are in a good position to block. That throw obviously wasn't a great throw, putting his guy in the best position to succeed. Low-hanging fruit and just super simple, effective, simple offense here for CJ Carr and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish offense. Now, Canes fans, once I saw this play, I immediately went back to last year, and I got vibes of Malik Murphy when he was at Duke, because he loved to take the cushion to the field side, and if you were just going to give it to him, he was just going to take it, similar to what CJ Carr does here. It's just something to inventory, and if a quarterback sees it and likes to take it and he has the arm confidence, just know that he likes to do that. Notre Dame here on the offensive side of the ball, 11 set personnel. They motion across the formation. Essentially, with wide receivers, they're 2-by-1. If you consider the tight ends, 2-by-2. Pass strength still up here to the field side. So here you go. Snap of the ball. It's just going to be one step. He knows. Look at the cushion, and the ball's delivered. Now, I'm kind of like, he's DB1 here. So not in man coverage on here. He's basically taking a rail. He's taking his third. So even though there's somebody in front of him, right here, he feels threatened by the 2, okay? And that's why he's getting depth. Now, the ball's already coming out. He doesn't see this. He's still pointing underneath. What is he pointing at? He's basically telling his defender, curl flat, to get flat. He's on curl. I need you to get flat because there's somebody underneath, and he's essentially trying to pass that off in case that comes into his direction. But again, the ball's already out. Super simple, effective. You got to play that a little bit better if you're DB1, especially for the Hurricanes. Can't be passing something off that's already past 2. Full disclosure, I like this play a lot. It doesn't work, but I like it a lot. Similar strategy as before. Going to fake a pass to the receivers. Tight end's going to essentially look as he's a blocker and then release late. Trying to get this tight end delayed screen, it just doesn't work. Now, inadvertently, defensive end here for Notre Dame, he's going to hook, right, and disrupt the timing. So, chipping those tight ends just a little bit more when they come into town, maybe that's not a bad strategy because this was set up, right? You got a caravan in front, 1-1-1. Big play in front. Just missed it. So, got to pay attention to those tight ends, especially when they look like blockers. You want to keep their running game bottled up. It's going to take place similar to this. Linebacker just makes one hell of a play here. He's going to go ahead and play this downhill, get in, just bring this down. Looked like it was going to bounce, get a couple yards, keep them ahead of the sticks. But Miami definitely needs to make sure that they bring their tackling shoes that day and do your best to bottle up this running game. How else can you help a quarterback making their first start on a road in a hostile environment? You just kind of like simplify the reads for them. And this is what happens here on this 3rd and 19 for CJ Carr. It's a triangle read. Sometimes I got to look out at defenders and anticipate breaks, or sometimes I can just stare in an area and just let the picture materialize on its own, and we'll show it right here too. If your offensive line is going to go ahead and stunt the pressure right here, they're only bringing 4 in, 5 offensive linemen. The big hog mollies do a good job because you are essentially putting 2 extra pass catching options, not as blockers, out in the field. So here comes your triangle. Ready? Watch it materialize. All CJ Carr is doing is just looking in the middle of the field because he's got 1, 2, and then right in the middle of the field, there is your triangle. Reads it perfectly, dig in the middle of the field on 3rd and 19, gets them a lot of plus yardage. Obviously, I think they're going to go ahead and kick a field goal after this. But again, offensive coordinators in the passing tree can make it easy for a quarterback, especially looking right down in front. Know thy nightmare. Notre Dame fans, I know you're new watching this channel, but Miami Hurricane fans have heard me say that over the time. What is something that could happen with the play call that I have that can kind of blow it up? What's my hole in my Death Star? All right. In this case, offense does its job. CJ Carr, great read. Not an overly sophisticated read because I've seen these style of plays before. One in which you're trying to go ahead and run a screen to the top, or you have your running back basically doing a swing route. So as a quarterback, what do I pick? Well, sometimes I got pre-snap cushion I can read with, or I read a linebacker, okay? If a linebacker kind of flows towards the receiver side, I throw it to the running back side. If he flows to the running back side, vice versa. You got it. But in this case, okay, linebacker comes in on a blitz, so I want to show you. So that's my nightmare, right? Okay, if I'm sending somebody on a blitz, who's the cover guy, and what am I asking him to do? This is why this goes for a big play. Right here, okay? I'm sending this linebacker on a blitz, which now essentially leaves me one-on-one right here to the field side. He's totally disadvantaged, right? He's totally disadvantaged. So I don't know. You have options. I don't like this option. I'm not here to try to do your job, but I'm a DC, just putting my hypothetical DC hat, switch the blitz. Because if this guy goes out there, he's not getting there. He just doesn't have the foot speed, just too easy for a read for the quarterback. So why am I stuck sending that linebacker? Send the other linebacker, and then situationally, you can go ahead and have somebody else cover that running back. I don't know. That's just me. Know thy nightmare. Notre Dame's going to score here with CJ Carr at quarterback. They were in a bunch set or motioning back across the formation late. Notre Dame loses sight of this. Nice little pick element here at the top of the screen. Good play by the wide receiver to go ahead and score. So you see this a lot in football, stuff like that, these natural pick plays, especially along the goal line. I just think on the backside, you have the organic opportunity right here. You see a wide receiver kind of coming across your way. I filmed something. Just say hello. Just make it a little bit difficult for him. You got 2 guys that literally just let him run by. Say hello. And then maybe you potentially take him out of the rate. Either way, good design play. Low-hanging fruit again. Easy pitch and catch for the quarterback touchdown. So the blue team's up 46-24, and CJ Carr is going to throw an interception. No, I am confused. They have blue jerseys, so they're the blue team. This team's got white jerseys, but they're the gold team. Either way, colors doesn't matter here. The interception is true. So kind of on the bottom of the screen, Notre Dame heavy in man coverage at the top because of the motion. They're playing this. Their responsibilities off the motion. Once again, the tight end, and I think the defensive side of the ball is starting to pick up on this, especially with CJ Carr at quarterback, because they're trying to like hold him into the route as long as possible. Now that is disrupted, They got that covered. Zone responsibilities to the boundary side, man responsibilities to the field side. Just enough eye candy by the defense. You force a ball from CJ Carr. Now, it's not a bad read. It's one-on-one with a back turn. You just got to have a better ball. And right here, great play by the Notre Dame defender, right? Understands football. Okay, look, this is my guy. When does he normally get the ball? I'm underneath him. I'm undercutting this. As soon as he's making that break, this is when a ball comes. Let me turn, look for the ball. Can't play it any better than that. So I know Miami's defense has put a huge emphasis on being able to cover, and this is why. Because when you got good cover guys similar to this, you could do certain things, put those guys on islands, and they make you look good. So the gold team wins on that one. And this is going to be the last clip of the evening. Rejoice, Notre Dame fans. It's going to be a CJ Carr touchdown. I don't think your defense watched that Alabama versus Georgia national championship when, Tua comes in and Georgia blows coverage, because it's the same exact thing. It's all verticals against a cover 2. So when the 2 goes vertical and the 1 goes vertical, typically I need to ride this out because my safety now has 2 for 1. Safety's in cement shoes. 1 goes right on by, and Alabama wins a national championship. Yeah, no, they didn't win a national championship on this one. Just the blue team beat the gold team in your spring game. We'll see in about a week, Notre Dame fans. To the Canes fans, hopefully you learned something today. And we will see the Fighting Irish this week. As always, I'm your boy Ro, OG member of the Orange Bowl Boys. Stay safe, my friends. Almost forgot that part. Bang.